I'm Ariana Grande.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Erivo.
And you're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Visit bpm.fm to discover more.
I think one of my big takeaways is when I invest in my creative self, the universe responds.
Oh, hello, friends. It's Susan Blackwell.
And Laura Camion from The Spark File, where we believe everyone is creative, but smart creatives don't go it alone.
Hey, we've got some exciting news. Doors are officially open for the fall 2026 cohort of The Spark File Blaze.
Blaze is our transformational group coaching program designed to help you stop sitting on your creative ideas and finally make them real.
So you bring the dream, the book, the business, the podcast, the screenplay, your vision for the next chapter of your life, and we provide the accountability and structure to help you build the momentum and courage to actually follow through.
Inside Blaze, you'll get world-class coaching, powerful curriculum, and a deeply supportive creative community that wants to see you succeed.
And here's a hot tip. This may be the last Blaze cohort we offer for the foreseeable future. What?
So if there's a creative project calling to you, if you've been waiting for the right time, if part of you knows that you are meant to make a bigger creative leap, this is your sign.
Head to thesparkfile.com to learn more and book a free, fun, no pressure discovery call with us.
Here's what some of our clients have to say about it.
One of my biggest takeaways from the Spark File is a renewed sense of forward movement.
Considering the possibility that people might like what I create, which is great.
That fear is not a valid reason to delay your creative goals.
Go to thesparkfile.com to learn more about Blaze.
What did you steal?
Secrets. Disclosure Day is Steven Spielberg's best film in 20 years.
Are they people?
No.
Are they human?
Oh my God. Spielberg does this better than anybody in history. I can see them. They're coming. Disclosure Day. Rated PG-13. Some material may be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters Friday. Get tickets now.
The Sparkfile podcast may contain profanity and other adult content.
Please use your discretion.
When I bump into something that inspires me, I dump it in my spark file. Could be something that I want to make or how I want to be. I pump it in my spark file. I jump into my spark file. Let's open up the spark file.
Welcome to the Spark File, where we believe that everyone is creative, but smart creative people don't go it alone.
I'm Laura Camion.
And I'm Susan Blackwell, and we are creativity coaches who help people clarify and accomplish their creative goals.
Know that just by listening to this podcast, you are joining a warm and wonderful clan of creatives.
But you may also be asking yourself, what exactly is a Spark File?
A Spark File is a place where you consistently collect all of your inspirations and fascinations. Every episode, we're going to reach into our very own Spark Files and exchange some sparks. And from time to time, you never know, we might even talk to some folks who spark us too.
And your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to take some of these sparks of inspiration and make something of your own. So without further ado, let's open up the Spark File. Oh my God, Laura Camion.
Susan Blackwell, it's recording day.
It's Spark Day. Hear ye, hear
ye.
It's Spark Day.
The Herald has heralded.
I've got a spark for you today, but before we get into this spark, we just want to make sure that people know the doors have opened for the next round of Blaze.
Yes, they have.
Blaze is our transformational flagship course in creativity. It's beginning September 17th. It runs through mid-December, and it is game-changing and life-changing.
It really is.
If I do say so myself. No, I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yes, that's true. And I also have witnessed two people, four eyeballs right here have seen it and witnessed it.
It is a good time. And we meet on Zoom from around the world, creatives of all different stripes come together. It is so fun. And here's the super, super fun part. Once you sign up for Blaze, starting in September, you have access to the creative community all summer long.
All summer long, from day one, from the jump. Start now, and you'll have some really like gentle but substantive support all summer.
Totally.
That you can tap into, because the creative community is 2 creativity labs a week. That's just dedicated time for you to set aside to work on your creative projects. Perhaps you're working quietly in a Zoom room alone with others who are working on their projects. Or maybe you're going into what we call the cabaret car to work on your creative work out loud, sharing the new stand-up routine you've written, new music, new pages, et cetera, et cetera.
Maybe 2 times a month, you're coming into Coach's Corner.
That's right.
And you're coaching with Laura Camian and or Susan Blackwell.
That's right. You get that.
It's pretty juicy. You get a lot for your money in the SparkFile creative community.
A lot. And you'd get all of that free all summer long because you're signed up for Blaze.
Yeah. And there's the online platform. Oh my God. The Daily Muse is musing.
Gearing yourself up nice and gently over the summer, or to what degree of intensity you want over the summer. But then preparing yourself to really dig in the fall. Set yourself up for some success.
It's good. It's really, really good. It's high quality stuff. We're very proud of it.
We invite you in, friends. We invite you in.
If you are socially and emotionally intelligent, if you're a kick-ass creative, we do invite you in.
And a kind one. And a kind one.
Yeah.
Hey, what should people do, Suze? If they want to join us, I think they should go to thesparkfile.com.
They sure can. And I think they will readily see where they should be clicking and swiping and learning more. So get into it. Thank you, Laura. That was a clear call to action.
There was a clear call to action. And now, Susan, I think that you have got a spark to share with me and us today.
I do. And I'm excited about this spark. Again, I say, I have been seeking those sparks that are so close to my face. They're so much a part of me that I can barely see them. So this spark, Laura Camian, is an exploration of something I have rumbled with on many occasions since my brain was developed enough to consider such things. Several times in my life, like everybody, I have faced big decisions, big choices. Which path should I take? What opportunities should I pursue? In whom should I invest? Should I go to grad school or enter the workforce? Should I live and work in this city or should I move to that city to pursue my career? Should I accept or decline a certain job? Should I trust someone? Should I break up with someone? Do I want to step into a specific opportunity? What path would bring the most happiness? What is my truth? Laura, have you ever been at the crossroads and facing a decision like that?
So many crossroads and so many questions. How do we know? How do we know which way to go?
And when you're weighing something like that, there's a lot of factors at play. A lot of feelings are coming up. So whenever this has happened to me and it feels really murky and I'm not sure which path is the best path, this question shows up for me again and again. And that question is, Susan, what is fear? What is instinct? And what is intuition?
Amen.
What is your fear? What is instinct? And what is intuition?
Oh, God. I have asked so many therapists this question so many times. But how do I know? Well, maybe this is just the fear part of me talking, or maybe this is my intuition. Dear God, I hope you're going to help us figure it out today, Susan Blackwell.
Well, I certainly hope so. I've been thinking about this for decades. And this week I sat down and I was like, let me see if I can articulate this. So let's start with what is the actual distinction between these things. In her book, The Mountain is You, Brianna Wiest writes, this is often confusing to people because which feelings are your instincts and what are your fears or doubts or limiting beliefs? How do we know the difference? So yes, today I thought it'd be fun and useful to determine the distinction between all these concepts so that next time you or I or one of you you out there listening right
Listeners.
now is faced with a similar quandary. You'll have some nuanced tools in your toolkit.
Oh, I love this. Thank you, Susan.
I'm going to start by providing the clearest definitions that I could find for these three terms.
Okay.
Because while these things often overlap, they seem to originate from different parts of our mental and physiological processing. Okay?
Mhm.
So, fear is an emotional reaction to a perceived threat.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is an emotional reaction to a perceived threat. Instinct is a primal biological drive for survival. Instinct is a primal biological drive for survival. And intuition is quiet pattern recognition based on lived experience.
Ooh.
Intuition is quiet pattern recognition based on lived experience. So clean, so easy, right? But again, I say, when you're in the murky middle of some bullshit, trying to figure it out, these distinct but overlapping concepts can get a little confusing. And sometimes it's hard to tell which is which. So
That's right. That's right.
Let's unpack this even further. Okay. So I'm going to build on those three definitions.
Okay.
Fear, as I just said, fear is an emotional reaction to a perceived threat. Merriam-Webster defines fear as an unpleasant, often strong emotion caused by anticipation or awareness of danger or reason for alarm. According to a very good article written by an HR professional named Mary Corrado, fear is usually the loudest of these three. It can show up in our lives or our creative work as second guessing, delay, and avoidance. And I'll add resistance to that. Occasionally, fear helps you slow down before a risky move, but more often it keeps you from making bold, necessary decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is also a complex emotion that triggers a fight, flight, freeze, fawn, etc. response. While instinct is the action taken to stay alive, fear is the agitation and apprehension felt when confronting a threat. So instinct has more action in it, and fear is sort of apprehension, it's agitation, it's anticipatory. The feeling around fear can be highly emotional, often heavy, and fraught with anxiety or confusion. Confusion is a real signal for me.
I wanted to ask, are you saying that the fear may be the story we build around something that rolls around it, but instinct is something we do perhaps without a lot of thought?
Yes.
Thank you. Getting it.
In just a second, we'll unpack instinct even further.
Oh, good. Okay, great.
But I think the answer to your question is yes. So fear thrives on hypotheticals and can sometimes be irrational or tied to past trauma, but it also has real purpose. Fear alerts you to danger, but it can sometimes lead to playing it too safe or shrinking your decisions. Okay, so let's get into instinct. Instinct is, again, a primal biological drive for survival. Instincts aren't feelings, they are responses or reactions. You don't have an instinct that you're sad. That's a feeling, right? The dictionary definition: instinct is a largely inheritable and unalterable tendency of an organism to make a complex and specific response to environmental stimuli without involving reason. Instinct is your built-in fast-acting emergency system. It operates unconsciously and requires no prior thought or learning. So the feeling is fast, it's physical, it's highly reactive. It often feels like an involuntary jolt, and the purpose is to keep you alive by generating immediate physical responses, like pulling your hand away from a hot stove or ducking out of the way of the falling object. That's instinct.
Amazing.
It's fast, it's physical. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
So does that kind of answer your earlier question, Laura?
100%. That's very clear to me.
Finally, intuition. Intuition is quiet pattern recognition based on lived experience. Again, the dictionary defines intuition as the power of attaining direct knowledge without evident rational thought and inference, and quick and ready insight, which again can feel like instinct, but I think the key word in there is quick and ready insight. Again, from an article by Mary Corrado, intuition is quiet. It works best when you're in the gray areas. While it's often correct, it can be mistaken for fear if you're not paying close attention. Intuition has been described as a deep, subtle knowing that arises when your brain rapidly connects the dots from past experiences and learned patterns. The feeling around it, quiet, calm, and centered. It often manifests as a peaceful yes in the body without panic or urgency. And its purpose, it guides you through ambiguity or complex gray areas, helping you make decisions that align with your core values. Our client, Juliet Gray, calls her intuition her deep down voice, which we love and we often quote. Thank you, Juliet.
Yes, thank you, Juliet.
So I think if you're anything like Laura and myself, many of us have been standing at a crossroads, considering which path to take, what decision to make. And one of the best pieces of advice when it comes to this that I've heard comes from Marie Forleo. She says we can tap into our natural body knowing. When you're thinking about doing a thing and you're not sure if you should do it or if you're just scared to do it, when you think of the thing, do you feel expansive or do you feel contracted? Literally, physically, viscerally. If you feel expansive, your shoulders and chest open up, you get excited, even if there's a little bit of fear involved, there is a forward, expansive feeling to it. On the other hand, if you pull in, like you're thinking about the possibility of that thing, and you pull in and your head starts to shake no, or something feels like pulling teeth, that's contraction. Now, here's where it can get confusing. That might be resistance to something you really want. So that's where I think it can get confusing.
That's right.
But by and large, if you feel that contracted sort of feeling, that might be your body telling you to stay away from that thing. And for coaches like me and Laura and other teachers and leaders and good friends out there, this can be applied externally as well. When you hear someone talking about something that they might do and they look pasty or depressed or deeply bummed, that's going to tell you something. But when they talk about something and they're sort of lit up like a Christmas tree and they get real, real expansive, that's going to tell you something too. So if you have a good friend or a good coach like Laura or myself, talk it out with them. They may be able to detect an answer in you and say, I'll tell you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a real expansiveness when you talk about this or a real contraction when you talk about this.
Amen to that. Because you can see it and energetically you can feel it. When you're on the outside of it and you're paying attention, you can see and feel it in someone else.
Yeah.
Love that. I love that distinction.
I want to just jump back to that point I just made about it can get confusing because of the resistance piece. Marie Forleo cites that Stephen Pressfield quote, "The more important a project is to your soul's evolution, the more you'll resist it. But that resistance doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. That resistance is telling you it's important to you." And that quote really captures the sometimes confusing nature of these overlapping elements of fear and instinct and intuition.
Yes, I think about this sort of like layered effect and this like suppression of a feeling. So, for example, if I have an opportunity in front of me that really excites me and my first instinct is expansion and excitement, if that feels so scary to me, it might instantly be covered over by, oh no, but what if I want that and I don't get that?
Yeah.
What if I try for that and it doesn't go well?
Yep.
What if everyone sees me fail, et cetera, et cetera? And so like, that's a layer of fear on top of my initial intuition was, this is for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So this is where you have to get really quiet and notice what feeling came first.
Yeah.
Was there this puff of like, expansiveness quickly followed by the, oh God, that might, even the sequence of those events might be telling if you're paying attention.
That's good information.
I thought that this might also be helpful to folks as well. In her book, The Mountain Is You, Brianna Wiest writes about intuitive nudges versus intrusive thoughts. Intuitive nudges versus intrusive thoughts. Different language, I think still related and applicable. She says, when you start listening to yourself, you might find it hard to tell the difference between thoughts that are helpful and intuitive and thoughts that are damaging and intrusive. They both function similarly. They are immediate, reactive, and offer some kind of previously unseen insight. And yet they function so completely differently in practice. So this is how to start telling the difference between thoughts that are informed by your intuition and thoughts that are informed by fear. And again, this is from Brianna Wiest's book, The Mountain Is You. Intuitive thoughts are calm. Intruding thoughts are hectic and fear-inducing. Intuitive thoughts are rational. They make a degree of sense. Intruding thoughts are irrational and often stem from aggrandizing a situation or jumping to the worst conclusion possible. Intuitive thoughts help you in the present. They give you information that you need to make a better informed decision. Intruding thoughts are often random and have nothing to do what's going on in the moment.
Susan, all of these so far, I'm just like, the big thing in my mind that keeps coming through is like, but when a fear-based thought rises up really loud and really strong, it's hard to convince myself that it is not necessarily true.
Yeah.
It is just loud, but that doesn't make it real, right?
And also we want to give that character to brain circuitry love because it is trying to protect us and keep us safe.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's coming up with some real creative stuff sometimes. And I'm like, wow, you pulled that.
Yeah. That's why I stressed earlier that confusion piece can be really telling and really effective at trying to keep us safe. Oh my God, that fear circuitry, that character to fear circuitry is so inventive and it can really confuse us. It can really, really keep us safe and in confusion.
Like you can feel like it is certainty. And that kind of goes back to that, like how the brain wants certainty more than anything else. So even if it's wrong, I just want to feel certain about this. And that voice will work very hard to feel like this is absolutely the truth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Continuing on, intuitive thoughts are quiet. Intruding thoughts are loud, which makes one harder to hear than the other.
Sons of bitches.
Sons of guns. Intuitive thoughts usually come to you once, maybe twice, and they induce a feeling of understanding. Intruding thoughts tend to be persistent and induce a feeling of panic. Now, I will tell you, recently, I had a thought that came to me.
Oh, God.
It came to me really loudly. And the thought was, my husband and I were in the midst of making a really big life decision. And I woke up and I was like, we should not do this. We should not continue forward on this path. And I was scared because it seemed like something he really wanted. And I was like, I'm afraid to say this because I don't want to rock the boat. And you seem like you really want it. But and I was like, is it fear? Is it intuition? And I was like, I have a very strong intuition. But it was accompanied by a little bit of panic because I was like, are we too far down the road? Are we locked into this decision already? Is he going to be mad at me? But it was intuition. That's what I mean when I say these can get really confusing.
Yes, because it was intuition, but it was loud.
It was loud and it had some panic tied to it, but it was my intuition.
I mean, interestingly, not to confuse the whole issue even more, but fear can sometimes be right.
Yeah.
Like fear is like not always incorrect. Sometimes it's like, yeah, it was good that I listened to that fear.
Yes. Sometimes I think it's about keeping us safe, which goes back to instinct. We're not talking to that stranger. that stranger who's asking us the time, if we're like, no.
That's right.
Normally I would give the time readily, but I'm like, my instinct is like, no.
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's keeping us safe in that way.
Yeah.
Are we just making you all more confused? Maybe by the end, we'll sort it all out.
We will. I trust.
Intuitive thoughts often sound loving, while invasive thoughts sound scared. Okay.
That's true.
Intuitive thoughts don't need to be grappled with. You have them and you let them go. Invasive thoughts begin a whole spiral of ideas and fears, making it feel impossible to stop thinking about them.
Why are you attacking me today, Susan?
You'll see.
Why?
I want to say that one again. Intuitive thoughts don't need to be grappled with. You have them and then you let them go. Invasive thoughts begin a whole spiral of ideas and fears, making it feel impossible to stop thinking about them. This harkens back to the spark that Laura shared about expansion anxiety and how we can get caught in a rumination loop. And often I think that is tied to fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Intuitive thoughts open your mind to other possibilities. Invasive thoughts close your heart and make you feel stuck or condemned.
Ooh.
Intuitive thoughts come from the perspective of your best self. Invasive thoughts come from the perspective of your most fearful, small self.
Wow. Hi, small self.
Yeah. Hi, small self.
Wow.
Intuitive thoughts solve problems. Invasive thoughts create them. Do you feel that? Do you feel that?
You're being mean.
It's so good. Intuitive thoughts help you help others. Invasive thoughts tend to create a me versus them mentality. It's very character too. Intuitive thoughts help you understand what you're thinking and feeling. Invasive thoughts assume what other people are thinking and feeling.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Sorry, Laura. Sorry about it.
I'm going to need this entire list in writing.
Intuitive thoughts are rational. Invasive thoughts are irrational. Intuitive thoughts come from a deeper place within you and give you a resounding feeling deep in your gut. Invasive thoughts keep you stuck in your head and give you a panicked feeling. Intuitive thoughts show you how to respond. Invasive thoughts demand you react. Thank you, Brianna Wiest. Thank you, The Mountain Is You.
Wow.
So, Laura, what do we make of all of this?
Oh, God. Tell me, Susan. Tell me.
Well, next time you are considering something, what you want to do next, what you want to make next, if it's time to let go of something, if it's time to change something, consider the options in front of you and pay close attention to what comes up for you. If it feels a little scary, but ultimately expansive, if it makes you want to take a nap or run screaming into the night or contract into yourself, if you are overcome with a sense of peaceful knowing, often it's not clear cut, but it may be more clear cut than what you think. We encourage you to consider what is fear, what is instinct, and what is your intuition. And go with your intuition.
Oh, so good. Susan, this is one I'm going to be like rolling over in my mind for quite some time and really trying to internalize this knowledge and this knowing.
Yeah. I don't want to minimize how complex it can sometimes feel.
Sure.
And it's even made more complex by our past traumas, especially if they are unprocessed. But sometimes they've been processed and we're on the Guggenheim spiral of our soul's evolution.
Yeah.
And if we can bump into it again, even when we're like, oh my gosh, I thought I had that all figured out, we can bump into it again and it can become freshly confusing. But I hope that some of these things, if you ever find yourself back at that space, I hope that some of these things may help untangle it for you and get to your deep down voice and your quiet truth.
I think they will.
I hope
I
so.
think they will, Susan. Super, super helpful.
Laura, is there any more that you want to think or say about any of that?
I am just, right now, I'm thinking about how interesting it is that all three of them are based in past experience to some degree. Now, instinct might be past experience like throughout time, like in our physical bodies and at the cellular level.
And even genetically, our elders.
Exactly. Did you read that study about how like it generationally in your cells, there may even be a thing like if 3 generations ago, your grandpa was hit in the head by a baseball at a baseball game, you're literally, you may have like a little, like your head cocks to the left just a little bit. And it is based on,
generational trauma.
Generational trauma. But I'm intrigued by the fear and the intuition, both having a foot in past experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that can be part of what convinces you this is the truth. I'm telling you the truth because this is based on what we, remember that time this happened. We know this. This is, and so I think that to me might be where the little diagram overlaps. You're like, right, that's where it gets really murky.
Yeah. Yeah. But if we can get quiet and sometimes rely on a good friend or a good coach who can quietly sit with us, hear it laid out, observe it. Sometimes you can get an assist from somebody who is very socially and emotionally intelligent. So there's that too. Phone a friend.
I love that. Phone a friend.
Yeah.
And check that list. I think that list is really, really useful. If you can identify what you're feeling, not how you might feel later, but how you are feeling right now.
Yeah.
And check it against that list.
Yeah.
Susan, this was super helpful.
I hope so. I think that's it. This episode of the Spark File was made on the lands of the Lenape and the Mohican people. And as always, we hope it put another bunch of sparks in your file. Listen to me. If there is a spark you'd like us to explore, or if you'd like to learn more about how to work with us to accomplish your creative goals, you can email getcreative@thesparkfile.com or reach us through our website. Check it out, thesparkfile.com.
We'll even happily take your feedback. But you know the price of admission. First, you got to share a creative risk that you have taken recently.
You can follow us on social at The Spark File and be sure to subscribe, rate, and 5-star review this podcast. Take a moment and do that. It really helps other listeners to find us. Also, if you like this podcast, we hope you'll share it with people that you love. And if you didn't like it, I want you to ask yourself, do you not like it instinctually? Maybe you're afraid of it? Maybe it's your quiet, deep down voice telling you it's just not the podcast for you. Go with that.
On the other hand, if something lights you up and gets your creative sparks flying, we are writing you a forever permission slip to make that thing that's been knocking at your door. It's your turn to take that spark and fan it into a flame.
You got to take it
and make it.
When I bump into something that inspires me, I dump it in my spark file. Could be something that I want to make or how I want to be. I pump it in my spark file. I jump into my spark file. Let's open up the spark file.
Hey everybody, this is Jeffrey Scott Parsons. I have just realized that I don't like the sound of my own voice, which is hilarious because I've started a podcast. Here's the deal. When we are younger, let's say 8 to 10 years old, we find filters through which we relate and understand the world. They're usually artistic in nature. Sometimes we find books, music. A lot of people find movies. For me, I found musical theater. Musical theater was my little Instagram filter through which I began to relate to the world. And that meant that the reason I knew about FDR and the New Deal in school was because of Annie. And the reason I could name all 12 tribes of Israel at church was because of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And if I'm being totally honest, a few years later, as I got older, the way that I was able to process the death of my close family members was by watching Ragtime. That's why I wanted to create a podcast, was to have conversations about musical theater that felt more profound than the razzmatazz that we usually use to get people to buy tickets. Because let's be honest, I don't care if you think that musical theater is cool. Cool is overrated. I live in Los Angeles, so I know that cool is very overrated. But I do know that musical theater is important. And those are the conversations that I want to be having on this podcast. Here's how it's going to work. Every week, we're going to pick a show. And for that show, I'm going to have a guest, and we're going to have a conversation about that show, about that musical. So what are the musicals we're going to cover? These musicals can be hits. Maybe they're not. There's no shortage of musicals. Let's say, okay, the first musical to win the Tony Award for Best Musical was in 1949, Kiss Me Kate, right? So now we're in 2019. So if we just did the Best Musical winners, and that's not even including the musicals that didn't win Best Musical, like Beauty and the Beast, or West Side Story, or Wicked, or what else? Funny Girl, Gypsy. I think what will be really fun is that every guest is going to bring something different, and everybody has different tastes in terms of what they like the shows to be. Some of these shows will be some of my favorite shows. Some of them will be favorites of the guests. Some of them might be your favorites. And that might mean that we're covering a musical that I don't really care for. I'm looking at you, Mamma Mia. But it's one of the longest running shows in Broadway history, so who am I to say that people aren't connecting to it? So we'll look at it and we'll at least come up with a hypothesis as to why people connect to this show and why it's bringing them joy. So I want to hear from you. If you have an idea for a show that you would want us to cover, just email us at amusicalpodcast@gmail.com, or you can always contact us on Twitter at a musical podcast. I'm excited to hear your thoughts. Tell me what show you wanted us to cover, and then you have to give me a good reason. It can't just be, maybe it can just be, I did this show in my community theater and I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. If that's it, just be honest. I want to hear your reasonings why. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe to the podcast whenever you can, and share it with your friends. Because at the end of the day, you're another day older. No, at the end of the day, I want this to be a community where people can come and celebrate this art form in a way that maybe doesn't get explored as much. So please call me Jeff and bring along your show albums, because we're about to get turned up. No, that's terrible. So please call me Jeff and get ready, because a musical theater podcast is starting now.